I can justify like all of these stupid thoughts in my head as being a bit ridiculous, or I'm not the only one going through it, but doesn't stop me feeling it. Hi, I hope you're all well. If you are new around here, hello, it's lovely to meet you, and if you are returning, thank you very much for coming back. My name is Alana, I'm a 36-year-old lady living in Scotland, and that is where my accent is from. And on this channel we talk all things beauty, hair care, skincare, lifestyle, travelling, bloggery, vloggery bullshit, but with a liberal sprinkling of sarcasm and cynicism thrown in on top. I do like a sweary word as well, you probably can tell that already. If you're not into that kind of thing, please feel free to vacate. But if it does sound like your kind of thing, there's a subscription button in the corner, give it a little thumbs up, all that other kind of YouTuber crap. This video is going to be me creating this look. It's nothing too exciting. There's a little bit of a like blue hollow eye going on. I picked up some new stuff from Kaima Cosmetics, which I'm going to be swatching for you and showing you a little bit of glittery goodness. But this video is mainly like a life update video, just stuff that's been happening, because my way of coping, let's say that, is to come on and just spew how I'm feeling. So basically I have been struggling over the last, I was going to say 2 weeks, but probably closer to 4 weeks, maybe a month now. And although like, oh, you see these shiny videos, you maybe see like fucking Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Life has been a struggle bus lately. And I kind of alluded to that in another video, so I thought I would come on and actually let you know just how I've been feeling. So it's going to be a little get ready with me, but it's not going to be like a step-by-step guide of everything I'm using, other than some of the Kaima stuff that I'm going to show you, and just a kind of life update and where I am at the moment. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, just keep watching. So I think today I'm just going to sit down and have a wee chat with you. As I was saying, things have been a little bit rough, isn't the right word. The word is just maybe stressful, overwhelming. I think that's how I've been feeling lately. And I just wanted to catch up with you and talk about that. I am going to put some makeup on while we do that. I also cannot find any of my, you know, little flat things, the slides. I mean, I can, but you know my nice gold ones that I have from Vive? Can't find them anywhere. I feel like the last time I seen them was maybe when I went to London. They might be in my wee travel toiletry case, but I've just not looked there for a while. Grab yourself a tea, a coffee, a cuppa. If you know me, it's probably going to be a long one. Also, has anybody tried these? These are Galaxy digestives, which I was very excited about. Honest truth though, just get yourself normal digestives, maybe out of Aldi or Lidl, that probably cost you about 50p, because these don't taste any different. And I've got myself a wee coffee from the shop today because Jack is having a nap at the moment, and we stopped off at the coffee shop on the way home before we had these naps, so nice fancy coffee. So as I was saying, I've done a little order with Kaima, I hope I'm saying that right, K-A-I-M-A, Kaima? I think so. Who kind of specialise in like holographic, glittery goodness, basically. Stuff that on the daily as a mum I'm not usually wearing, but in my alter ego I fucking adore. So I picked up, what is this? A super sparkly glitter flake, hollow glitter flakes, and is this another one? Chameleon flakes. I think I've got chameleon flakes, all three of them. I also picked up their glitter eyeshadow adhesive, reason being I have glitter primer, but it's probably 4 years old. I can't even remember how old it is. And I thought it might be time to just get yourself a new one. And I've heard really good things about their glitter primer, so I wanted to try this. And I also picked up one of their multi-chrome liquid eyeshadows. It says number 6. I can't remember if it's got an actual name. Does it say on the bottle? No, it just says number 6, but you can probably not see. You might not see because of the fancy bottle, but it's actually like a lavendery blue to purple, I would say. You maybe don't see it there, but what I'm going to do is, because I think that that will complement this, which is Sky Juice. It's one of their matte liquid eyeshadows, and it's just a beautiful like periwinkle blue. I think these two will complement really well, but also this lunar shade, I think it's just going to be kind of beautiful. So let's just start. I feel like I am just overwhelmed, tapped out, burnt out, and I don't know, maybe someone will be able to tell me if that's something to do with summer holidays. My son is only 16 months old, but he doesn't go to nursery throughout the summer holidays. He only goes to nursery during term time. That was my choice. I could have probably put him in for more days if I asked for it, but I honestly just thought at the time, he's quite young. I think that's quite a lot. And by the time they're going up to school anyway, he's not going to be in nursery or school all the time, is he? He's only going to be there during term time. So I kind of was like, I don't see the point in starting him to go just all year round when that won't be what he's used to by the time he's like 4 or 5 years old. So anyway, that's by the by. It has meant that it's been a lot harder because I have had very little time to myself. Because if I'm not at work, then I'm obviously with my son Jack. And before anybody gets on here being like, well, that's fucking normal, like some people spend 24/7 with their children, I get it. I absolutely get it. I'm just talking from my point of view, my kind of personality, and how I cope emotionally, that if I don't have even this time just now, like a little bit of time to myself, and I'm not saying sitting in front of a camera, like I might just be doing this in my day-to-day life just on my own. And it doesn't have to be putting on makeup, but just that little hour to do what I want to do in my own time, then I do struggle. Before me and even Alan got together, I lived on my own. I'm a little bit of a introverted extrovert, is that what you say? When I meet people, I'm not shy, but at the same time, I very much prioritise my own time to myself. So for years, lived on my own, really enjoyed having my own time and my own space and things like that. And then obviously me and Alan moved in together, and Alan is actually the polar opposite. He does like time to himself. He does like time to be able to do things that he likes, like hobbies and stuff like that. But he doesn't really enjoy it when he's on his own in the house. So for instance, if I've got night shifts and things, even before Jack came along, he used to hate it. He'd just be like, just plodding about the house here, doing what? I don't know. I am the opposite. Like, I feel like I get quite tapped out if I'm being too social too much of the time. It just starts to really mentally drain me. So I really appreciate a little bit of time to myself. Then obviously you have a child, and that is the complete opposite. And again, before anybody says to me, what did you expect? You're having a baby. Like, I get it. Like, you know, but I'm being honest here, because I'm sure there's lots of people who feel like me too. When that autonomy is taken from you, when you've had so much of your own independence, and then all of a sudden little bits of you start to get chipped away. And what I would say is as well is that I am aware I am never going to be the person I was before Jack. I don't even think I want to be the person I was before Jack, because I am so much more now. And that's not to say that if you're a mum, you're less if you're not a mum. I don't mean it that way. I just mean I have so much more things that I've experienced and so much that I have learned from having Jack, and so much love. I wouldn't give any of that up, not for a second. I love my son. He's so much fun. He is so silly. He's just, every day I watch him do something new and learn something new or say something new to me. He's got so many little words now. And I'm just like, you are a little sponge. You are so amazing. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you start to feel like you're at work all the time, and then when you come in, you've got this little person who needs you all the time. It's very different now that he's a toddler, because he's up doing things, and when he was a little baby, of course they need you for everything when they're a little baby, but it's very different. It's funny actually, I'd seen Jamie Genevieve posting with her little baby on the breast while she was on the computer being like multitasking, and I was like, absolutely, like that's what mums have to do. However, I also was like, but when they start to get to the point when they're up and walking about themselves, multitasking becomes a lot harder, because you're kind of like trying to do the things that you've done before, like go and make a meal, and maybe for the both of you, maybe during the day I try to make lunch for the both of us. You're going to try and maybe put washing away, just get the house a little tidier, stuff like that. And if they don't want you to be doing those things at that time, they are going to tell you about it, aren't they? So I've just put a little bit, I'm going to do Hail Y. If you didn't guess that already, I'm going to do a little bit of a Hail Y. So yeah, that's from Half Magic Beauty. It's called Sky Juice. I think it's gorgeous. So I think I'm going to I'm going to put that over the top of this. It might not work because that's a matte and that's a shimmery one, but let's just give it a wee blast. Let's just try. Yeah, so you're kind of going from being able to do multitasking things, and as they get older, it becomes more difficult because they honestly might not want you to be doing that thing at that time. And sometimes, like I just had an experience there when I was giving Jackie's lunch, and he's pointing and pointing, and I was like, what is it you're looking for? What is it that you're wanting? Mum will get you. And I don't know, there was like a truck sitting behind me that belonged to him, and I was like, is this what you're looking for? Nope, didn't want that. Then he's just pointing aimlessly at things, and I was like, I really don't know what it is you're wanting. And he's getting more exasperated and really like angry, but obviously because he's frustrated because he can't tell me what it is he's wanting, and I don't know what it is he's wanting. And you honestly in that moment feel absolutely useless, But for instance, like I've said this before, imagine that was a grown adult doing that to you. Not somebody with any kind of cognitive impairment, like somebody just a normal person. And they're pointing at something and they're just going, ah, like that to you. You'd be like, gonna just tell me what it is you want. But obviously as a toddler, they can't just tell you what it is they want. And it is like, you're just a little bit like, holy shit, like help, somebody help me. And that along with the fact as well, like, now I love going for a walk with him because just even going for a simple walk around the block at the moment can be like a whole exciting adventure. Like, it's great fun. However, on the daily, when you're going out, maybe you're trying to go up to the park or do something nice, and you do find it's a very repetitive situation. So if there's a puddle, he's going to be in the puddles. It's good fun. And if there's a car, he really loves cars at the moment, he'll shout car. If he sees a bus, he'll shout bus. And it's like you have to reinforce that, because I'll say, for instance, well done, yes, that is a bus, or well done, that is a car. And by the time you've said that 50 times on the walk around the road, you're just a bit like, bus, car. And it's not because of any badness. Like, I love him. I love that he's so clever and so aware of things. It's just a lovely, lovely thing. But also it does become like Groundhog Day. Like, it absolutely does. And as I say, he's learning new things every day, but a lot of things that he's learning then become the same thing that he's saying every day. And it just becomes a bit like, you're like, oh my God, we're just doing this again, are we? And as I say, not for a second, I'm not going to stop doing it. But when that's all you're doing, so I think there was a spell there for 3 weeks where I didn't have a break from Jack at all. And as I say, I know there'll be people watching this being like, yeah, welcome to my world. I didn't have a break for fucking 12, 13 years, whatever it was. But it starts to get a bit like, whoa, like, where is the time for me to just get on with my life at the moment, or just get on with something that I need to get done? Personally, I am someone who really struggles if my home isn't in order. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, you've got a little one, don't worry, the dishes can go undone and this and that and the other. Yeah, I get that, that's fine, that's not a problem. But for me, things like having a dirty house, so to speak, like literally where I can see dust and things like that, it affects me mentally. I know there will be a lot of people who can't really relate to that, and I'm certainly not like saying to Jack, oh, don't pick that up, don't do this. He gets to do whatever he wants. It's just the basics things, like we might put a washing on, but the washing lays on the dining table, like dry washing lays on the dining table, sat there for 2 weeks because you never get a chance to put it away. And then yesterday I actually got a day to myself because Alan's mum and dad took him in the afternoon, and I put away all the washing, I tidied all the house, I hoovered all the floors, and I was like, oh, and then that's so sad, isn't it? Like, I was happy about doing that stuff, but also I was like, I could have been doing stuff that I like doing in that time, and I didn't get time to do it because on the daily when I'm here and I'm seeing these things build up, it makes me feel like I'm like under a weight. That's just me personally. That on top of the fact that work has been a struggle. A real struggle. I don't know what to tell you. To the point that I actually at this point have applied for new jobs. It's just been too much. And again, I don't know if that's when you're going back as a mother now, as a parent, and you feel like, do you know what, my priorities aren't this anymore. And that's not me saying I'm not going to be a nurse. That's not it at all. But when you feel like you're going to work and you actually can't achieve what you're supposed to be doing in your job, and I'm sure there'll be loads of nurses will agree with me here, but the wards at the moment are so massively understaffed, not new, but I feel like 10 times worse pre-pandemic, pre-COVID. And it's almost to a point, I feel like I can't function as a normal human being 90% of the time at the moment, let alone a nurse. I genuinely was in a place, and I don't want to start crying because I'm trying to do some makeup here, but I was genuinely in a place about 10 days ago where I just wanted to go to bed and sleep all of the day, because all of the things that I was thinking that I had to do, be it the weight of what was going on in work, be it looking after Jack, be it trying to get the house cleaned, be it complete my revalidation, because that's coming up. That's something that nurses have to do every 3 years to prove that they've kept up to date with training and online courses, done enough hours over that period to continue to be a nurse. And you have to collate it all together in a folder and hand it in. All that kind of stuff was needing done too. It's still in the process of being done as I film this video. Thinking about trying to get a chance to film stuff for YouTube or Instagram, which again, not a priority, but something that I enjoy doing. Making sure that I'm taking Jack to like informative, fun things. Like I take him out every day, but you over the summer holidays start to feel a little bit like we're just doing the same thing every day, aren't we? As I said, it gets a little bit like Groundhog Day. And so it was getting to a point where I genuinely felt like there is so much weighing on me at the moment. It would be easier to go to my bed, go to sleep, because I don't have to think about it when I'm sleeping. But even at that, sometimes when I was going to my bed at night, I was struggling to sleep. Even little things that I don't know why they've came to a head just now, but I am so worried about Jack sleeping overnight. Sorry. Seems a bit silly because it's never really been a worry before, so I feel like it's the accumulation of all the things on me. But I'm up 2-3 times at night just to check he's okay. And he's fine. He'll sleep. He is a brilliant little sleeper. Touch wood, it stays that way. I am so lucky because my child is a little boy who just quite likes to go to sleep. Goes down at this time, wakes at this time. If he's not feeling well or teething or something, things can be different. But on the whole, throughout his life, he has been really good. So I feel like as if now, why am I waking up overnight with this fear that he's not going to be okay? I'm waking up with a fear. I'm worried about things that he's doing, like something's going to happen to him constantly. These horrible like thoughts that something awful is going to happen to him. That in itself is really difficult. So I had all these things going on, work being really shit, just feeling the stress of having Jack all the time, feeling like I was just on a hamster wheel, do the same thing every day, feeling like that wasn't good enough for Jack as well, feeling like I'm not doing enough for him. Even things like when I'm making him a meal, I'm like, is this healthy enough? Like, am I doing enough? Is he getting enough nutrition? Maybe I shouldn't just be giving him, you know, toast and spready cheese for lunch 2 days in a row because I don't have time to do anything else. You just start to beat yourself up so much. And I'm really trying not to, I know you'll hear my voice going here, really trying not to waver, but I even went to see the Barbie movie with a friend and oh my God, it just hit home even more because I was like, women just do so much, or main caregivers, whatever way you want to say it. But I do feel like women, they just have so much expectancy of what they need to do in their life. With my career, for instance, I've nearly been nursing for a decade now, and I feel like I should be further on in my career than where I am. And I came back from maternity and a lot of more senior roles had been given out while I was on maternity, which is nobody's fault. And even some of those roles wouldn't have been ones that I'd want or would have went for. But I felt like as if, I've took a year out to have a baby, so kind of lost places that I could have went for, or promotions I could have went for. And then on top of that as well, like just now with Jack, I don't think I could go and apply for a new job that was full-time. At the moment, I am working 2 days a week and still using my annual leave from maternity. That is due to run out soon. But me and Alan have chatted with the fact that mentally at the moment, I don't think I could go back up to full-time 3-4 days a week because I'm already struggling at 2 days a week. And I feel like as if I was going to apply for a new job, a lot of them are full-time, especially in a more senior role and in a promotional role, they usually are full-time. So I feel like I'm almost like stuck somewhere now that I'm really struggling to be. I don't want to say I'm unhappy where I am, but I do feel like as if it's time to move on as well. Like I've outgrown where I am at the moment. And that doesn't mean to say like I'm better than any of my staff or anybody that I work with, my colleagues. I just mean I know myself it's time to move on because I'm really struggling being there. Mentally, it's really taken a toll on me being there. I'm coming home from work and crying. And it's just too much. It's just too much. Work is so hard. I think that's the real crux. That's what pushed me over the edge a couple of weeks ago because it's really tough. And as I say, any nurses that are watching this, at the moment, the healthcare system in the UK is on its knees. And I know it's such a better option than having, for instance, what people have in America where you don't have universal healthcare. But at the moment, working in the National Health Service in the UK, it is tough. So very tough. So just before I continue talking about work and things, I am going to swatch these for you because I'm going to put this one on the lid and I just want to show you what they're like on the back of my hand, and then we can get back into the doom and gloom and what's been happening. This is why like I adore having this as a bit of an outlet, because it is really cathartic to come on and just be like, hey, I'm struggling. It feels like a little therapy session, and it's probably something that many therapists would advise against going and airing all your dirty laundry out on the internet. But at the same time, I didn't come on 2 weeks ago and say, listen, came home from work yesterday, cried for 24 hours, because as I've said before, I'm very much someone that deals with the situation at the time, and then when I can reflect on it, that's when I come on and I'm like, listen, this is what's been happening. These are like the Flakies glitters from the Pastel Roses, I want to say. They're very loose glitters. I'm just going to show you this one here. This is the one that's called Galaxify. As you can see here on the side, it's like this beautiful red colour, but as you turn it towards you, it just goes like a black. So you can see it's got this amazing kind of duochrome effect to it. I would even say multi-chrome, because there's like purples and all that in there as well. So let's just pop that one on one here. Now, these are messy, might not be a nice word to say, but they are certainly a little bit more fiddly than other ones, but I think the effect of them, this is gorgeous. Oh! Right, looks like nothing there. This looks like black glitter. And then if you turn it on the side, it looks like it's going to green. I can assure you, when I'm looking at this from the side here, it is bright red. I don't know how to explain that to you. Can you maybe see it just switching slightly? See there? Look at that. To that gorgeous red colour. But from far away, looks kind of greeny. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this one here is the Hollow Yellow. I'm just going to show you that. So it kind of looks kind of silvery in the pan, I would say. Not sure why it's called Hollow Yellow. It just looks like kind of holographic to me. Oh my. Can you see that? Can you see? Look how holographic that is. That is insane. Look at that. That is stunningly beautiful. Again, I'm not sure why it's called Hollow Yellow, because to me, it just looks like a beautiful holographic. And then the last one is Lunar. Now this is the only one that came with like a protective seal. As I say, the packaging on this one is a little bit different. I don't know if this is an older one that they have updated. And I'm just going to show you this one here. I'm not sure you're really going to be able to tell anything with this one. It just kind of looks like white, but it kind of goes to this beautiful blue shift here. Almost like an iridescent, like it's got a little bit of neon to it. I would also say that these flakes in this one, Lunar, are a lot larger than the other two. Like the other two are a bit more finely milled. That's why I'm wondering if this is an older one that they have like redone or something, or they're thinking about redoing again, because the flakes on this, can you see how big they are on my finger there? They're really, really large in comparison to the other two. And that is Lunar there. So as you can see, like this one is a lot more, like looking at my hand there, you wouldn't think there was anything on it. This one is almost like see-through, but the shift on it there is actually kind of blue. I don't know if you're going to see that. So as you can see there, the holographic one, I think that one is the absolute winner. But Lunar definitely has a beautiful like blue shifty to it. You can see it. And then if I turn this way, as I say, this looks kind of green. If I bring it this way, you can see it's like super duper red. So Galaxify, Hollow Yellow, and Lunar. Lunar was the one I was going to put on the middle of my eyelid, but I feel like I want to put the holographic one on. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I just felt like over the last few weeks, I have really, really struggled. Struggled with like doubting myself consistently, doubting myself as a mother, as a nurse, as a partner as well. Because I feel like as well, like me and Alan have had no time together whatsoever. And again, something that we had before and always promised each other like we would make time to do it. And as it happens to probably as many couples, just kind of goes out the window. And the two of us are actually really upset about it. It's not like, you know, we've not had time for each other and we're just like, oh well, fucking don't have time. It's like we're both like, I really miss you. I really miss just spending a bit of time with you and not with Jack. And it's not because neither of us don't love Jack. We both adore Jack. That's the first thing we think about. What are we going to do with Jack this weekend? We never really stop and go, do you know what? Maybe we could just get somebody to look after him and we could do something this weekend. We never ever do that because taking Jack with us is just like the thing. Like, he's part of our life. He's part of what we do and we love doing it with him. And then other times we're just like, my God, it's been probably 2-3 months since we just went out on our own. See, I thought that would kind of happen. I feel like that's just got lost on the lid there. In real life, it looks quite effective because it's doing the kind of shifty thing, but just looking straight on, it's kind of not doing too much. Just gonna turn off my light here in the hope that you can see this a bit better. Yeah, so like, see on the back of my hand here, because it's out of focus, that's kind of what it's looking like in real life, but I think you will really struggle to see that. I've had to close my curtains and everything. It's one of these ones that, like I say, I think on film and in photos probably picks up really beautifully, but is actually quite a difficult one to see once it's on your eyes. I mean, it's pretty. I know I'm in pitch black right now, but I'm feeling like as if for you to really see what I'm talking about, you can kind of just see it happening on this eye. Anyway, so all of that's been going on, and I feel like as I'm telling you that story, it doesn't sound like there's a heck of a lot going on, but mentally I have really, really been struggling with that on the daily and just thinking that I'm not good enough for anything, doing enough for my son. Can you see see this wee mark here? Burnt my hair with a straightener the other day. Burnt my head with a straightener the other day. I'm taking the Vive concealer, by the way, because I haven't used it for a while, and I'm going to mix it with some glowy primer because I believe that's what they kind of suggest. I'm sure Jamie was like, mix these two together, it'll go fantastically, so we're going to try that today. But I do feel like a lot of people have also said, oh, it's quite a sticky experience, which I can imagine because the Vive Skin Dew is a little bit dewy and kind of got that little bit of tack to it. So I'm just going to dot in between with the Skin Dew and see if I can get a similar effect. I'm going to stick some right up here as well. As I said, going to the park today with a full face of slap on. Totally normal. But this week, as we speak, Jack will be back at nursery. So that means that unless I'm working the 2 days he's at nursery, which doesn't happen every single week because of the kind of shifts that I do, that I might get a little bit of that free time that I'm so desperately looking for again. And as I say, it might be that you're the type of parent that's like, I actually wanted to give up work and just look after my kids. Maybe you didn't have the option. Maybe you were someone who was like, do you know what, childcare was too expensive, so actually coming off of work just to watch them myself was better. And I would love to know people's thoughts and feelings on that, because I think there will be people who loved it, loved being a homemaker, loved being like there 24/7, and being there for their children and looking after them 24/7 until they maybe went to school and then went back into work. But I know there will be people like myself who that would just be too much. Like, I can't not work. I can't not go back to work. And we're really lucky that in Scotland and in Glasgow specifically, we have council nurseries that will take on children as young as Jack. And yes, we do have to pay, but the price it costs in comparison to a private nursery is like massive difference, a hugely massive difference, and it's an expense that me and Alan can afford to take on at the moment. So we're really, really lucky in the way that we can actually put him into nursery 2 days a week, and I can still go to work. And if it's not on a day when he's at nursery, maybe I'm working the Saturday, Sunday, and I actually get both the Thursday and the Friday when he goes to nursery off, then that, to me, that's just the way life works. But that also means on the Saturday and Sunday when Alan's off, we won't see each other because I'll be at work and he'll not. Life is just tough. Life is just fucking tough, right? I'm just telling you all this stuff that you probably already know. But as I say, I would love to know people's thoughts on it with regards to, did you give up work completely just to look after your children? Was that what you wanted to do, or was it something that you didn't have an option? And if you have went back to work, how are you feeling about it? Like, do you feel a bit like me? Like, as if this is now really overwhelming? Because I certainly, I was speaking to a friend who's a doctor actually, and she went back to work and she was like, do you know what, like, it's just brought it home so much that now that I have a wee boy or I've got a child, that a lot of the things in work that people are complaining about, and we're talking about a health service here and people's health, so people who with complaints usually have decent ones, but my God, is there a lot of people who have complaints that are not justified. A lot of people really don't know just where their bread is buttered having a universal health service, because if we had to pay for it the way other countries do, then I really don't think they would know what had hit them. And it's scary because, you know, there may come a day where that universal health service isn't available anymore, because, as I say, it's on its knees at the moment, and I would hate to think that that would happen for two reasons. One, because me myself, being a type 1 diabetic on an insulin pump and having cardiac issues, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it, not for a second. I would not be able to have a pump and get the consumables and all that kind of stuff. Even buying insulin in America is such a costly thing unless it's covered by your job and your insurance and stuff like that. It's so expensive, and that's just to keep you alive. That's just to keep you alive. And I think that there's so many people in this country at the moment, even after a pandemic, take the health service for granted, and are still doing so, and it's so sad. And there's so many justified people using the health service and who need it, and those people I feel are being a bit overshadowed at times, because the people who shout the loudest are usually the ones you hear. I know that's difficult for me to say as a nurse because everybody's got justified reasonings, but sometimes people can't see the bigger picture. They can't actually see, you know, the person in the bed next to them who has no ability to feed themselves, wash themselves and things like that, that you need to go to because they need something at that point, and maybe, unfortunately, their food's in front of them and it'll go cold if you don't go to them first. The person in the bed who can feed themselves thinks that their problem is greater. They just can't see the bigger picture sometimes. And as I say, with staffing the way it is, it just exacerbates the problem, and people get so annoyed at you. I think it was my mum that was saying to me, it must be really difficult going to work at the moment and not get any fulfillment from what you're doing. And I was like, that's not the case. Like, I still feel fulfilled being a nurse. But let's just take people who work in hospitality, for instance. Even a barista, right? Let's just use that as an example. You work in Starbucks or Costa or whatever, and you're making coffees every day. And let's just say for every 10 coffees you make, 8 people bring back a coffee and say that's a shit coffee, or that coffee was too cold, or there was too much foam in that one, or, you know, I know my rights and I should be getting great coffee. Like, just making it sound a bit silly there. But that's how it is in work at the moment. Like, you used to go to work and people would respect doctors and nurses. I think a lot of that's went out the window. Some of it for good reason. I feel like people feel like as if the health service has let them down, and so they're scared about going to people in the health service for help. I understand that. But I also feel a lot of it is entitlement. And as I say, even as a job as a barista, you probably experience that. So for every 10 coffees you make, and let's say you make, you know, 60, 80 coffees in a day, and 8 people for every 10 coffees are coming back and telling you that it's shit, or it's not good enough, or you aren't doing your job properly. That's how it feels in my work at the moment. So for every so many people you're looking after, and maybe it's relatives, family members, other people, and they're coming back and saying to you, this isn't good enough, and that's not good enough, and blah, blah, blah. And it's actually feeling like your hands are tied. You can't do anything. You're trying your best. A lot of it is to do with understaffing, that the system's broken. There's nothing I can do. I'm so sorry you aren't getting your scan today. There's other people who are going into the scanner who literally might die if they don't get the scan, whereas you, with your slightly sprained ankle, you might not get it today because actually you're stable and you're okay. We could maybe hold off to tomorrow, but people just don't see it that way at the moment. And it's a very difficult thing talking about this kind of stuff, because everybody has their own idea of what pain is. Everybody has their own idea of what is important to them and their loved one. So it's not like you can just say the coffee was made correctly. Shut up. It's just not that easy. I'm not saying that's what happens to baristas either. I used to be a barista many, many moons ago when I was at uni the first time round. That was always a part-time job I would have as a barista. So I'm not slagging you in the slightest. It actually got to a point where I wasn't enjoying little things that Jack was doing a couple of weeks back, because I was worrying about things I hadn't completed at work or I hadn't done at work. Because I was worrying about things that I'd maybe forgot to do in work or hadn't handed over. Even the other night when I was leaving work, I was like, I did tell you that, didn't I? And they were like, yeah, you've already told me that. And I'm like, constantly questioning myself. I wonder if that is like a parent brain thing as well. Like, once you become a parent, I feel like I don't retain information the way that I used to. And I think that is definitely because there is so much going on in my head. I feel like I'm forgetting things. I'm not getting things done. I start things that I never get finished now. all of these things that just keep happening. And I just feel like I am a shitty human for it, which is ridiculous. And I know people will be like, don't be silly, like you're raising a little boy, you're doing this, you're spinning all these plates, like this is what happens. But for me and the personality type that I am, I'm quite this is how I like things done. I start doing this, I get to this point, I finish doing this. And when you're like starting things and never getting them finished, and that's how I'm kind of saying about my house as well. Like I start a job and I never ever get anything finished. I used to like do nice like redecorating around the house and all that kind of thing. I mean, my son is now 16 months old and I still haven't finished the bedroom that didn't get done, because it didn't get done while I was pregnant because I was too heavily pregnant while we were trying to do that room. It didn't get done because then like Alan never got time to do it when we came home, and then we had a baby. It never got done. And it's absolutely fine, it's livable, but I feel like as if like I'm letting him down because he's not got his little room and it's not finished, which is a ridiculous thing because he doesn't care. He really doesn't care. But these are the daft things you start to worry about. And it's just like, in my mind, I know a lot of it is just silly things I don't need to worry about. However, on the daily, as I feel the pressure's coming on and on and on, I worry about them. I just worry about them. It's just automatic. Like I can't stop myself overthinking. I can't stop myself thinking things are going to happen, bad things will happen, all of this stuff. And I'm kind of sick of people telling me like, you should go and see a doctor. And I know people mean it well when they say it, like if this is how anxious you are and things like that, then you should go and speak to someone. I understand that. But I do not want to go into medication because I have experiences with other people in my life being on antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications. I didn't like what I saw. I know some people need medication and it absolutely helps them, and I think that's fantastic. I personally am just not someone who wants to go down that path. I just don't. I would much rather try and like speak to someone, therapy, all that kind of stuff to try and get round these thoughts in my head. But I don't want to start medication and I don't want to go to a doctor because a lot of the time, again, with staffing and things being pushed like they are, it'll just be put down to like some sort of postnatal depression. Maybe it is a little bit of postnatal depression. Maybe there's like a spectrum for that as well, and people are like can be up here at 100 and the people can be down here with 0. Maybe I'm somewhere like on a 40 to 60 or something at the moment. But I almost don't want it to be put down as that because it doesn't feel like that. I do feel very, very overwhelmed all the time. I do feel like I'm not listened to a lot of the time. And that's not me saying like Alan doesn't listen to me or my family don't listen to me or my work don't listen to me. They probably do listen to me. But I feel a little bit like, why can people not understand what's going on in my head and take the initiative? Like I feel like people don't take a lot of initiative a lot of the time. And that's not just with Jack, like in work as well. I'm like, why are you coming asking me that? You're a grown adult. And Alan said to me the other night, he was like, it's probably because people trust your point of view. They know that you're experienced and that's why they come and ask you things. And I would certainly never say to them, you're a grown adult, go and deal with it. Because that would be very rude. But I do think it sometimes. And I'm a little bit like, why do people always have to come and ask me things? And do you know what? I bet you there's a million people in my work who are thinking the exact same thing. Millions of people who are in different jobs who think the exact same thing. So it's not like it is just happening to me. It's not. I can justify like all of these stupid thoughts in my head as being a bit ridiculous, or I'm not the only one going through it. But doesn't stop me feeling it. I am gonna just pop on this from Oma. It's a kind of pinky shade. I just want a little bit of a neutral something or other. I also popped on my Merit Beauty Day Glow there. What else did I use? Tower 28 Make Waves mascara, and through my brows I used the Merit 1980 brow. I think is that everything? Oh, blusher. Blusher is this from Revolution. It is Aura, and I feel like I can't remember what these are called. It's like a glow balm. I feel like it's a bit of a dupe for a Danessa Myricks Duet balm, but it's got a little bit of colour to it. It's like a glowy blusher. It's really, really nice. I haven't put any bronzer on. I brought my Milk bronzer to put on, but I haven't put any on. And I used a little bit of glossy Wowder as well, just around these areas here. So I'm just going to go on with this little, it's like a lip stain oil tint thing. I am also really aware as well that a lot of people will be like, you know, oh, it's everyday life. It's welcome to adulthood, blah, 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 like all this kind of pish. I get that. Like it is everyday life. I'm not dealing with anything horrific, that nobody else is dealing with, like who's maybe got children and works a job or is in a really high powered job, or maybe has a loved one at home who's coping with a chronic illness and things like that, and they're a carer for them. Like, I am not coping with anything that nobody else hasn't maybe dealt with in their life. And for that reason, I almost like undermine these things a lot of the time, being like, God, could be a lot worse. But my God, I remember saying this a while ago, sometimes you do feel like, but things could be better. And it's not that there's anything wrong. Like, I have a roof over my head, I am in a job and I'm earning money, I have food on the table, like all the main things that you need in life, your health, your happiness, that is there. Like, I can't fault it. So then when you feel this way and you feel like you are a bit down and out and a bit like, I'm not doing anything right, why does nobody understand what's going on in my head, why is this happening? It makes you feel even more stupid. It makes you feel even more like, I've got nothing to complain about here. And I hate that as well when people are like, why are you so stressed? You've got nothing to be stressed about. And you're like, why have you just fucking said that to me? Because different people have different reasons to be stressed and different ways in which their mind and body will react to stressful situations. 9 times out of 10 in my life, a stressful situation, I would react quite like, this is what's happening, this is how we deal with it. I feel like now my body's a little bit like, something that's not that stressful a situation, I'm like, oh, why is this happening? Like, I've just changed mentally. My mind has just changed. And my God, I do wish I could get it back to that kind of even keel. But at the moment, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster, because some days I'm like down here where I do just think I could get under the covers and ignore the world for a while. And other days I'm fine. Other days I'm just like, just got to get on with things. And other days I am really, really happy and loving my life because I have a great life, a wonderful life with a wonderful partner, a beautiful baby, a lovely home. You know, I am aware, I am very privileged to have all these things. However, that makes you feel even more like, why the fuck am I feeling like this? Why do I feel like I'm needing to complain? Why do I feel like, oh, I'm just losing my mind a little bit? And for that reason, I just want to say, if anybody else does feel that way, hi, I'm here feeling it too. It's all right, don't worry. I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling either of those two things. And as I say, everybody experiences feelings differently. Like, someone might break a nail and have a meltdown. Somebody else might get told some seriously bad news and just cope with it and take it on board and get on with things. It just depends. I feel like my whole life, as someone at 36 years old, I have been thrown a good few curveballs in my life. I have dealt with various deaths and situations in my life that at 36 years old maybe some people wouldn't have, and some other people will have more of. And I feel like all of these little things that I can think happened, all these little like points in my life where things happened, I did just get up and brush myself off and get on with it. I did for ages. I don't know now if I'm just at that point where I'm like, I can't keep picking myself up anymore, and that's why I need extra support from the likes of Alan to be like, you're still okay, we're still going to be fine, everything is going to be fine. Because at the moment, rationally, I think, why am I worrying about these things? But mentally, I still continue to worry regardless. So that's my little life update video at the moment. Probably has been a very lengthy one, so sorry if I've been babbling on for ages, but I did want to just come on and let you know what's happening, because I feel like as if I'm coming on and being like, nothing's really happened, but I feel like everything is fucking happening at the same time. It's mental. And I just hope to God there's people out there who, they get it. I just hope there's people get it, because that's kind of why I'm putting it out there. Firstly, to say you're not alone, because I'm here being an absolute crazy person about it, but also just so somebody maybe says to me, hey, listen, everything you're going through, everything you've explained, or parts of what you've explained, I've been there, I've been through it. That would be lovely too. But that is where I'm going to leave this video. I've been trying something a little bit new with my hair. Maybe people will be watching this being like, have you? It looks exactly the same. But I've been watching And Just Like That, the second series. Many thoughts and opinions, but we can get into that another time. But I was watching Sarah Jessica Parker in it, and I really love the way her hair is sitting at the moment. My hair is really long at the moment, like it needs cut, it does need cut. But I feel like I want to keep the length in it, because I really love the way her hair just sits in that little like wave going on, and they don't come too high. It's just like, I'm enjoying that. So that's kind of what I've been trying, something a little new in my hair. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave this video. If you have made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching. As I say, please put a little conversation, comment, anything like that down below if you have experienced any of this stuff. And I will see you all again soon in the next one. Bye.